Hello again, I am Mr. Purple. Thanks again for watching this video. If you like my videos, if you like what we try to do here, please subscribe if you haven't done it already. The other thing that's very popular right now is the t-shirts, the Mr. Purple t-shirts. There's lots of people wearing these at the moment. You can grab yours on our website, copying this link below. So once again, thanks for listening. We love your feedback. Engage with us and speak soon. Michelle, Tom
Yes.
Hitchcock, long time no speak.
I know.
I weren't too sure if you'd still recognise me, you know?
I do. You just shaved your head, but other than that, you
Yeah.
still look the same.
And you still got that lovely smile as well. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
At the moment, I'm actually in Kenya, believe it or
That's the
not.
same before, looked a bit different, you know,
Yes.
in Nairobi.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I was in Nairobi at the beginning of 2008 when there was a
Oh,
civil war.
oh yes, it was the post-elections violence actually.
Yeah,
So we've
yeah.
never had that before, and that just happened at that time. I wasn't here at that time, but I do remember like hearing people experience different kinds of things that they'd never done before. So it was terrible. It was actually terrible what happened. But I'm glad that we're not back there. But it's just what people say. It's what people say that causes some of these things to happen.
Of course, and it was a very interesting time for me to be there as well. I went down, I stayed in the hotel just overnight because I was on my way to Tanzania, as you say, to do
Yeah.
the mountain. Okay. But the flight got messed up, so I had to go to Nairobi, and they're warning foreign nationals not to go there. I won't bore you with the whole story, but I remember literally sitting down having some food in Nairobi, and people were fighting, anyway, and I was literally the
Yes.
only white guy sitting. I stood out like a sore thumb. I'm like, but I just need a kebab. I just want a kebab. I'll take it.
Wow. And I can imagine like it, okay, first of all, like for you, it was such a shock. Like you come into a new place and you're thinking, what's the experience here? And that's what you get to see, right? And then for someone like me, I wasn't here physically, right? But I was hearing stories. And I was so shocked because I had never seen that in my entire life, right? Um, Funny enough, like Kenya itself, we are prided for being a very peaceful country. So you always find that most people from neighboring countries who are refugees come here to shelter themselves or to run away from civil war or whatever is taking place in their country. So when that took place here in 2008, it was like, what is going on? It was completely mind blowing. And that was scary because from what I had, and I'll tell you this because these are the stories I had. Your neighbor, this is someone you've probably grown up with, you've known all your life. They're coming to your house to attack you. Why? Because you're from a different tribe. So that in itself was the shocking part because we have always coexisted together, I guess, when we got the capital, and then coming to find out, hey, my neighbor had some grudge on me or doesn't like me because I'm from here. It's totally, it was completely unheard of. So I can imagine what you went through.
It was brilliant. It's a really novel experience because I remember we drove through a minefield. They put a
Mhm.
minefield out. We drove through a minefield from the airport into Nairobi, and it's just like, God, I just want to have a sleep and I want a kebab. That's it. But yeah, it was interesting in that, and I did. I stuck out like a sore thumb. And people they're going past in their sort of utes, as we'd call it, their trucks, which represented different tribes, and they were shooting at each other.
Mm.
It was like, great, but I'm hungry, so I'm going to do it anyway. But it's interesting you say that where your neighbour, the people you grew up with and you know relatively intimately, okay, um, that then would attack you and condone you on and what have you. And how odd that is, especially for a typically peaceful nation. But if we think about it, this happens constantly. Okay, the states have it with whether you're Republican or Democrat, they
Exactly.
despise each other as it is. And then you just go back to Nazi Germany. One minute your neighbour's Jewish, and then you're doing what
Right?
you're doing to them. You know, and it all shows what is in human nature when we allow a narrative to control us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's why it's so important to, like, I think this was my journey. So maybe I'll go briefly into also learning myself. So on traveling to Australia, like at a young age, because I got there when I was like 18. I was really young, 17, turning 18, right? And I was in a family setting, so you can imagine, you're around people, you're around family, you're around, relatives, friends, everything. And then just boom, you're in a society where you don't know your neighbor, don't know anyone. And then now it's kind of like you have to start knowing yourself. So imagine coming from a place where you've been around others, you've had that um I don't know, you've just had that connection with the community around you, right? And then you come to a place where you're by yourself. There's no community. You have to start building up those friendships, those people that you didn't know. And so I think the biggest shock for me was I need to get to know myself. And the funny thing is about individuals, we like to run away from that. We don't want to know ourselves. We just want to, okay, I know my neighbor, I know this, they're a good person, blah, 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 and run off. Or when you're confronted with the challenging things, because speaking about what we just said, I have a neighbor. I've known them all my life. But deep down inside, there's something I don't like about them. And I will never show it to them. But why is that? You don't know yourself. You don't know what
Yeah.
values you have. And that's the funny thing. Like, I had to confront a lot of things on my own without any kind of influence. Not my family, not my friends, not nobody, just me and myself. And now starting to learn myself. Who am I? What do I value? What do I like? Like those are some of the challenges I faced when I came there. And I remember most people saying, "Oh, you're so brave to go there." And yes, I had homesickness. That was so normal. Then I went through all the challenges you go through when you go to a new place. Like, you don't know anyone, you don't know even where you are, you don't know how to get from one place to the other, you don't know the culture. It was a lot. It was a lot. But the beauty is when you're young, it's easy to absorb these things. It's easy to go with the changes. So for me, I think I got to a point where I was like, okay, I know what I want. I know myself. I know this. I know that. And life goes on.
It's interesting. So I know how you and I met, and there's a lot of people in our circles alone who have gone to a different continent, different city, a different country, to start a life or have a period of time away. And it is quite common for these people to find themselves as they go about this. And I think you sharing that part of your story there will resonate to people that have gone through that or even considering it. But I think that, for me, going abroad and you don't know anybody, etc., 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 all that wonderful stuff. That's the exciting bit. I
Yes.
find that, yeah, let's have that feeling again. The only time it's a challenge I found is when something bad happens. You know,
Yeah.
where you need your support network. You need some financial assistance. You need, whatever your comforts are, whatever your rights are from whichever country you're born in, whatever the case may be. When you haven't got that stuff, when the chips are down, that's when you really notice it. Right now, I feel on my own.
Mm. I remember one day, I still remember this day. It was so funny. I can't remember what exactly had taken place. I was in uni and I was I was walking on the road, right? And something had happened. Like, I can't remember what it was, but I'm telling you, Tom, I was crying. I was crying. I was walking and I was crying.
I
Like
shouldn't be laughing.
literally,
You're smiling. It
literally.
makes me laugh at your sad story.
No, literally, I was crying. When I remember it, I start laughing because I'm like, I'm asking myself, what was I crying about? Like I was on the road, I'm crying. Um, and this lady's passing by. She's like looking at me like, oh no, like she didn't know whether to ask, are you okay? Like she wasn't sure what to do with me. Cause she's like, do I say sorry? Like, what do I do? Like, is something bad happened? I was just crying maybe because I had gone through there was just a lot of emotions. I think I was moving from where I was. Um, um, oh yes, and I had argued with this. I had a housemate had argued with her, and she had accused me of something that wasn't true. And I think I was just upset about everything. And I was like, why is this lady accusing me? I haven't done anything like to provoke this. And now I'm in this situation. And I think I had a friend there, but she wasn't around and like I was so upset. So I just walked out and I was like crying on the road. I'm crying on the road. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And I'm laughing about it now because I'm like, why was I crying again? So that's how I'm making it. I mean, it is sad at that time, but it's funny for me right now thinking about it because I'm like, what was I thinking? So just to give you an experience of some of the lows you go through, it could be a small thing that just triggers the tears. It could be something massive, like you said, when you go through the real challenges. Like I remember I was living in Sydney as well, and oh man, it was so expensive at that time. I'm a student. I'm on a tight budget, and okay, so sad times. I don't have enough money to buy food, for example. I don't know. I can go and get food from somewhere else, and you just find yourself like starving. Like those are the times I'm like, I don't know. Some things, when I look back, there's some things I could have done better, for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah,
But that's what the lessons are. You need to go through those trials and tribulations, and all those come back to finding yourself. Like for me, you can only really find yourself if you're hungry, if you're bankrupt, if you're heartbroken, and all those little combinations. Then you start to know your parameters. Right, this is my
correct.
limit. This is the point that makes me walking down the street crying. This is the bit that gets me yelling. This is the bit which make me punch out. Whatever it is, it doesn't. None of these are ideal. Okay, but these are my points, and then it's not like I can do this. You know where you stand, you know yourself, you know what your triggers are, you know what pisses you off,
Yeah,
and you can then walk confidently for the rest of your life. No, actually, no, don't take it any further. That's me here. you know,
correct. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Like when you don't know yourself and you don't know these are my values, this is my limit, this is it. Like you get into anything. I mean, in those days I remember like um people would be like, hey, let's go to this person's place, let's go and have fun here, let's go have fun there. And for me, I knew, okay, I have my limits. I can do that when maybe I've completed this task or I have done this or I have done that. And I think that's when I started doing my setting my goals and saying, okay, this is what they are doing. Let them do that. That is their life. Okay. For me, I need to focus on 5, 6, 7. And then when I have the time, I can go join them. So for me, that's how I kind of built up my network and my community. I said, okay, I know it's important for me to see my friends sometimes, and I'm going to make time for that. That's something I can make time for. But when it comes to achieving my goals, when it comes to me setting up goals, I need to do that myself because nobody else is going to do that for me. I have to sit down and do it myself. So I need to know this is my limit. So I noticed, right? I remember. So my friends would go out all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, right? And I wasn't joining them. And they'd see me once in a while. They'd be like, what's going on with you? Why are you not joining us? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, I have goals I need to set. I need to complete my tasks. So when I graduated and they came for my graduation, some of them hadn't graduated. They were like, oh, wow. So we can see what was happening. Like you were busy preparing yourself and we were busy partying. And of course, they did graduate eventually. But it just goes to show, like, what are your priorities? Are you going to go this way? Or are you just going to let everyone dictate, hey, come along and do this, and you're going to go do it without understanding? I need time to, like, for me, I needed time to sit down and like focus on my work, because at that time I was doing subjects which were technically for me, they were difficult. Like I was doing accounting, finance, and also I was doing some technological stuff, so IT. So I had to sit down and focus. Like I couldn't just go about doing this, that, the other. Again, as you know, you're in a different setting, which means that some of the things are new to you. So you need to study them so that you're not lost and going, what are they talking about? What is this? Like, so yeah, those are just some of the things that I had to start now putting a boundary around, especially when it came to meeting up with people.
I'd say there's a couple of things there. So, firstly, to focus on what you can control. So
Yes.
it's really to cut out that white noise and do that, but also to be aware of external influences. Sometimes we can just put ourselves to the mercy of these, and it creates an excuse. It,
Mm,
you- and to be aware of it so that you can move it back into your realm of control. Well, let's get you into my controls, and I can choose will I be distracted or not? Is this a worthy distraction? And external
absolutely.
influence could be anything. It could be the economy. It could be a whole load of things. In your case that you just provided was a common one with friends that are enjoying life, and it seems like a great idea, but it would have hindered you.
Yeah, I think for me, had I done that, and this is true, but it's sad. Some of my friends never got to complete their degrees. One of them actually ended up, the dad came and collected him and took him back home because he was like, yo, I've been paying all these fees all these years and I'm not seeing the fruit. And this was like, I had left, I'd already graduated, I'd already started working. And this guy is still in uni. And you're thinking 7 years down the line, like you should have been done. He's brilliant though. He's brilliant. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong. He's brilliant, but he's just hasn't found that could I say like boundary to say, hey, yes, I can go out, but I also need to spend some time focusing on this. And yeah, so he ended up going back, um, or rather coming back to Kenya. But then you haven't accomplished your goal, and that's sad because
That is sad. That is sad. And it's one of those things that if I was to ask that person, what would you say to your younger self? We already know. We already know
yeah,
where that is, because the hindsight's there, but the lesson hasn't been learned per se.
exactly, exactly. And it's funny because I thought, when I graduated and then others were also like doing the same thing, like moving on with their lives, graduating, I thought that that would motivate him also to be like, whoa, everyone is moving forward. What's going on with me? But I don't think he ever had that time to reflect. I think that happened after when it was too late. So this goes to show you like having setting boundaries in place is so important. It is so
And do you,
important.
do you remember how you and I first met?
Yes, I do. I remember I was working at Kaplan and I was actually sourcing opportunities for um, the graduates from Kaplan. And I think you were at, it was it Davidson?
Davidson.
Davidson.
Davidson, yeah.
Yes, Davidson. And you had the opportunities and I would like send you interns to work with you. And that's how we got to meet. And yeah, that was interesting, and I think it's because of you we constantly had those internships at Davidson, and students really loved them. By the way, because a lot of
That's
them are coming from like Europe or from Asia or from South America, and then they had this opportunity to actually work. So yeah, that was something. That was something special, by the way.
that was nice, and I remember. I look back at it fondly. Do you remember what you did to me at an event once?
Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. What did I do?
So you invited me to an event where I don't know there's a few students get together, nibbles, drinks. It's
Yes,
at Darling Harbour. Okay.
yes,
And then this event changed. Actually, now it's day before. He said, "What? There's three speakers. Can you be one of the speakers?"
yes. I
Okay.
remember.
just a little part. I said, yeah, that's fine. Then on the day, it's actually Tom. You're the only speaker. I'm like, okay. Well, what do you want me to talk about? Like the hour before. That was it. So I was like, shit. Right, okay. This escalated quickly. I'm now the only speaker. I don't know what I'm doing and what have you. He said, "Don't worry, you'll be fine." I said, "The other, get me a drink. I'll be fine then." And then I don't know if you caught it. So the whole time I was talking, I was giving some advice out, whatever, and which apparently was well received. But it had an open window to the
Mm-hmm.
boats, where the
Mm-hmm.
bar in the venue. And a lot of boats kept leaving as I was talking. So when they reversed, they did the three big horns. And so no one could hear me anyway. I could have said anything.
True. But Tom, let me tell you, when you organize these events, it's so funny. When you organize these events, right? Um, you have this idea in mind, right? You're going, okay, I'm going to have two people speaking or three people speaking, right? And they're gonna have like 5 minutes each. And this is gonna happen. And like that's the idea essentially. And then when the event comes, you realize, oh no, this person just dropped out last minute. This has happened. And then you go, okay, I think yeah. So you just have to like go with the flow. So I think at that time, since you were the only one who had accepted and you were the only speaker, I just had to, I'm so
Yes.
sorry. Like it wasn't intentional, but it just ended up
Uh,
being like that. Like it was not like I'm gonna make you speak, but that was just that's just how the event ran. So you can never control events. Sometimes they
I
just
know, I know, I know. I was only a guest, end up being the main speaker. No, it's good.
right.
I enjoyed it. It did make me laugh, and I actually think you were more nervous than me.
I
And
was.
organise all this stuff, and you're like, Tom, sorry, we haven't got a topic for you. Just tell them something. Um,
Exactly. So it wasn't, yeah, it was never intentional. It just happened. It just ended up happening. And it's funny how I got into that role. I'm telling you, I love that role because first of all, um, I was speaking to people who had just newly come into Australia. So I was able to kind of give them guidance somehow. And then also seeing the transformation. Like right now, when I see some of those young people who started their careers. Some of them are like managing, others are doing amazing things. Some have even started businesses. Like, I don't know. When I go back to that time, I always think I did a very small thing, a
that's it.
small thing. And then when you see the outcome, eventually you just go, wow.
I'm in contact with loads of the interns from Force Still, and they pop up. I had one who actually did a podcast with me, who started a good business in London. There's a,
Amazing.
but I didn't actually remember that one. He come back to me. By the way, I did an internship with you, da 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 da, da and I learned this and I applied this. So, especially with interns, because these are the people that give their time and effort over and above. They stand out. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and take investing themselves seriously to another, they take it to another level. Um, that internship themselves really has a massive thing to play for them. And it shows time and time again. And you're right, it's quite heartwarming to see where people take it and where they go. So I wouldn't play down your part too much, Michelle. I'd lift yourself up a little bit more.
I think that happens, when you become a mother, you're just like, eh.
I'm not a mother, so I wouldn't know, but I'll take your word for it.
You just become okay. First of all, motherhood humbles you. I'll put it that way. Like you just realize, oh wow, like all you're so you're so confident in yourself and you know what you're doing, and then the baby comes in and you're just like, oh, what do I do? And that's where you start. Like you have to learn how to, okay, not so much change the diapers, but then you have to learn how to work with another human being again from a young age. And you don't want to mess up. You don't want to mess up. So you're like, oh, I hope I'm doing this right. I hope I'm doing this right. And like it's it's twice as hard. I don't know. You have a child, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know how it is.
I think it is different for guys and girls, to be honest with you.
Yes.
But
Yes.
nevertheless, there isn't really a manual there. You sort of work it out as you go along, because they're all completely different. But you're right, it does humble you. It's probably a lovely segue into another conversation, to be honest with you. But unfortunately, we've come to the end of this one
Yes.
quite quickly. But just quickly before we go,
Mhm.
if someone would like to reach out and make contact with you, which medium would you prefer? Is it a website? Is there LinkedIn? What would you prefer?
LinkedIn. If you want
Yeah.
to reach out to me, go on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Michelle Otuke. I know here I have Kerubo, but that's my middle name. But yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest way. I'm actually kind of starting something here. So you know how in the Philippines there's a lot of companies that use
Offshore.
labor from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of trying to do something similar here because there's so many graduates in Kenya. They know English. Uh, some are really, really excellent, amazing people. So just creating those sort of opportunities. So again, I feel like it's 360. I started there. I kind of delved off somewhere else and then back here again. And I'm like, but this time, in an environment that used to be familiar to me, I'm not gonna say it's familiar, but this changes. So that's what I'm kind of working on at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll get you back and we'll hear some more about that. But for now, thanks again for your time. It was lovely to catch up
Thank
with
you.
you.
Yes, lovely to catch up. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for your time.
Hello again, I am Mr. Purple. Thanks again for watching this video. If you like my videos, if you like what we try to do here, please subscribe if you haven't done it already. The other thing that's very popular right now is the t-shirts, the Mr. Purple t-shirts. There's lots of people wearing these at the moment. You can grab yours on our website, copying this link below. So once again, thanks for listening. We love your feedback. Engage with us and speak soon.